Reminders is my favorite Apple app. It's my see everything, track everything, manage everything tool. And so today I want to show you how I transform the humble and shy reminders into a monster efficiency tool with a single tap. I will share why reminders is a cut above everything else out there, and then I will share what I use it for and how, and then I will share my setup and show you how you can do the same with just 3 taps. And lastly, I will show you a few tips and hacks that made a huge difference in my workflows. You know, reminders is great on its own, but it's the integration with other Apple apps. This is what makes it into a real powerhouse. It kind of defines Apple ecosystem in a completely different way. It's a true system where all components are interconnected and where the whole is more powerful than any of its parts. You know, I remember burning through notebooks and sticky notes, just trying to keep on top of my work. Everything required searching through my inbox and email archives and digging through my files and folders and drives. I was sleepwalking in a haze of worry that I forgot to do something, forgot to save my notes, or that I forgot to respond, forgot to review, forgot to ask. I always have too many things and too many places all happening at once, and you know, that's never gonna change. But the difference is either knowing what's going on and being in control or letting it all happen to me. And I hate when things just happen to me without my say-so. But back then, I was not in control, and I was miserable just trying to keep it all together. I was looking for something that can be with me at all times, free, low effort, low maintenance, high power, easy, and reputable. And that app, if it existed, had to have 5 key features. Number 1, no manual input, ideally or as little as possible. My problem is that I suck at typing, and so capturing a task or a to-do and not having to type it, well, that was my ultimate wish. Number 2, Kanban board, another must. The tactile feeling when I move my tiles around, it makes me think and I solve things faster. Number 3, I wanted to drag and drop all relevant metadata or reference data like emails, notes, calendar invites, charts, etc. right into my Kanban tiles. But just to be clear, I'm not talking about copying their content over. I mean having links to open those emails or notes or calendar events right from my Kanban tiles. Number 4, I want it to be simple, intuitive, free and easy to use without any sort of custom plugins, add-ons, accounts, and passwords to remember. And number 5, instant sync and access on all of my devices, even on my Windows PC at work if I'm desperate. And you know, nothing made the cut except for reminders. It's the combination of simplicity, intuitiveness, and flexible UI and tight integration with other Apple apps. This is what makes reminders so powerful. Now let's talk about what I use reminders for. I use it to track all of my daily to-dos and tasks, all of my project management, all of my development and solution backlogs, my team assignments, and on the personal front, I track all of my YouTube episode backlogs and all of my house projects and chores. All of that lives in reminders. I also use reminders as a discovery tool, but that's something I will share in the next episode. A couple of notes before we dive in. We'll go beyond the basics, but this is not a tutorial. There's a whole lot more to this app that I want to cover today. But I think it will be a great start if you're new to reminders, and if you're already using it, maybe you will pick up a few new things. I will be using my iPad with OS 18.5, and you will need OS 17 or higher for this to work. If you're also a Mac user, there are a couple of very frustrating and annoying differences, and I will go over those later in the video. Alright, let's go do it. Here's the actual board I use at work. Each column here represents a specific work stream or a project. Tiles represent specific tasks. This is how you can set this up yourself. To get started, let's create a new list. Tap Add List, name it, then set it up in the column view. Name your columns, first create a tile to save the name of the column, and then done. And you just created a Kanban board. To add a task, start typing in a blank tile. To add a flag, due date, time, priority, hashtags, and notes, use the toolbar on top, or instead, tap the eye icon. You can also set up reminders in a way that scheduled tasks will appear in your calendar. But the cool thing here is that they will not block your calendar. Those time slots will still be open. I move my tiles up and down within each column to change priority and dependency of my tasks. For me, the Kanban view is hands down the best way to visualize and manage what's on my plate. By the way, Kanban translates from Japanese as visual signal, and I think you see why. I organize my boards in 3 groups: life, business, and work. To create a group, create at least 2 boards, and then drag one board over another, and then name your group. And well, this is really all you need to get started. But as far as using reminders across various Apple devices, the functionality, look and feel are more or less the same. The Mac app will have the menu bar up on top, and if you're a Mac user, you will know exactly what to do. iPad and iPhone work almost identically, but using reminders on my iPad is by far my favorite. And now I want to show you 4 of my absolute favorite features that brought a good amount of sanity back into my life. I don't know of any other app that can do all of this. These 4 things completely changed my workflow and helped me regain control. And not unimportant, gave me a decent boost in confidence. Anyway, my favorite feature number 1, drag and drop to link items in other apps. Notice that many of my tiles have mail, notes, or calendar icon embedded in them. That indicates that this task has a link to a specific email, note, or calendar event. Tapping the app icon will open that linked item. It's pretty great, right? But this is actually not the best part. When I drag and drop an email, or note, or a calendar event into reminders, it creates a new tile, a new task. And reminders will use the metadata of the linked item to name the new task. For example, it will use the email subject, the note title, or the calendar event name to name that new task. Most of the time I give it a slight edit for better context, but if I'm on the go, this is all I really need to do not to forget. There will be time to make it pretty. The input here is minimal and it saves me a ton of time, and it works the same on all devices. Now, a few technical points before we move on to my second favorite. To drag and drop emails, your inbox cannot be set up in the conversation view. And because it's a link, if you delete that email, the link will not work. Besides mail, notes, and calendar, I use it for freeform, web addresses, images, or iMessage. Now, the frustrating difference when working on Mac. For reasons I do not understand, drag and drop on Mac does not work for notes. Hopefully Apple is going to address this. In the meantime, there is a workaround for that. On your Mac, go to the node that you want to link, click on the Share button, select Send a Copy, then select the Reminders icon down below. I delete the text of the note. Reminders will truncate long notes anyway, so it's kind of useless and not the point here. Then select the Reminders board where you want that link. It will drop the link in the Others column, and you will need to move it to the right place. This is so far out of ideal, I almost never use it unless I have to. But there's actually a bigger issue here. Notes linked on my iPad do not open on Mac. I feel like it's a recent change and it used to work, and this is so frustrating, and it's a real issue for my workflows. I really hope Apple fixes this and allows dragging and dropping notes on Mac the same as on iPad or iPhone. You can also link freeform boards, but drag and drop does not work there on any of the devices. You will need to do the same thing as linking notes on Mac. Hopefully it's a future development. Freeform is relatively new and it's such a great little app, and I find myself using it more and more. My second favorite is scanning handwritten text right into my Kanban tiles. Unfortunately, as much as I try, I end up with a few handwritten notes here and there. Those notes happen for a reason. I need them, but I really need them in reminders and not on paper. And I don't want to type it over. So here's what I do. I typically use my iPhone. It's much easier than maneuvering my iPad. I open Reminders board on my phone, click on a blank tile. Then I tap on the camera icon right above the keyboard. On the pop-up menu, I tap Scan Text, point the camera to what I want to scan, and then tap Insert. The text will appear right in the title. In my experience, Apple's text recognition will do a pretty decent job trying to understand my scribble, but it really depends, and sometimes I need to fix a few things. My favorite number 3 is creating subtasks. Simply drag one tile over another. The tile you're moving over will become the subtask. You can then use the caret to expand or hide your subtasks. Each subtask can be marked as complete individually, and you can drag and drop new items directly into the stack. You can rearrange the subtasks in the stack or drag them out of the stack altogether and make them into individual tiles. And my fourth favorite is creating multiple tasks by copying and pasting a list of bullet points from another source. If I have a list of bullets in another document and I want to create a task for each of them, here is what I do. Highlight and copy the bullets. Go to your Reminders board, tap on the blank tile where you want those tasks, paste, and look, you now have individual tiles for each of the bullets. No retyping or doing copy and paste one by one. So easy. And how about a quick bonus hack? adding hashtags. It allows me to quickly filter my tasks based on a hashtag. My boards are huge, and it's super helpful to be able to quickly focus on something specific with just one tab. You can use an existing hashtag or create a new one right in the tile. All of the hashtags will be listed at the bottom of the sidebar, and you can apply one or more to filter your boards. Pretty handy, don't you think? And there you have it, another powerful Apple app packed with helpful features. The 5 tips I shared with you today aren't just time savers. They eliminate friction from my workflows and put me in control of what's on my plate. And it helps me with building a reputation of someone who is capable, informed, and effective. My next episode is about what I do when I'm not in a mental and emotional place to tackle my work. So follow me and I'll let you know when it's ready. I'll see you in the next one. I love you.